So this last week represents November 4th through the 10th. This is that new stand of ours called the RV stand. I had a pretty good hunt here. I think I slipped in later in the day because we had rain in the morning. And this young 8-pointer was following a doe. I didn't get her on video. But you can see all the junk and stuff in there. But the deer really like moving through this area. This is the first time I've seen this buck, even on camera. But I think I've had a few more encounters with him now later in the week. When I first saw him, excuse me, my initial reaction was to pick up my bow. He was quite a bit farther away. So I saw those two bucks, and then this third buck came in. Another young 8-pointer. This stand really sets up good for a west wind, like a northwest, southwest, which we're kind of lacking a northwest wind. Good northwest wind spots. More rain this past week, so I sat in a blind. Put the decoy up this night, hoping I'd catch a big buck out on this open ground, you know, like right before quitting time or something, and maybe bring him into that decoy. But I think I got skunked. I don't even think I saw a deer this night. So now I'm at the cabin farm. I wanted to check a couple cameras, so I went over there. And one of the cameras was in this spot I call the boot, so I just sat there for a few hours midday. This is like at noon. This buck comes through. And then I went out and sat this green food source. One of the only green food plots that grew this year. I don't know why it grew. Wishbone and I have been talking about that. I think it must be because it has morning and afternoon shade. So it just held a little bit more moisture, just enough to get it through that dry period when it caught a little bit of rain. So this buck came out chasing a doe. This was a really good night. So I'm going to see Pop-Tart here coming up. That's a pretty big buck. I don't know what that is. It's too dark, and I was trying to film it. But he made a scrape. And then Pop-Tart comes out here shortly. I mean, that's a pretty good buck there too, isn't it? So I apologize for this video. This video looks like it's light out, or lighter than what it really is. This is getting really toward quitting time, and I have to switch my camera to low light. And I think what it does is it really slows the frame rate down. That's why it's so jumpy. But this buck we call Pop-Tart is just a giant. And he came out chasing a bunch of does and fawns. And at one point, I think I had him at about 30 yards, 35 yards. And I was hoping to get a look at him this night. Get some video footage of him. Again, I apologize that it's really jumpy, but it's the best I could do. And he's chasing these does and fawns all over this green food source. Here he comes again. You see that buck? See that buck way in the background in the weeds? There's another buck back in there. Right here, I think he's, I don't know, about 30 yards, 35 yards. I wish that video wasn't so jumpy, but just wanted to give you an idea of what I was seeing that night. Then at one point, right at quitting time, I had the camera off, and this buck walks within like 3 feet of the blind. It's crazy. I mean, I don't expect you to believe me, but it was pretty incredible. Pretty good hunt that night. So we're trying to come out of a drought, and we've been getting off and on rain and mist and more rain, and this is a morning hunt, and I don't even think I could see until about 8 o'clock in the morning. It was just so foggy. So all Wishbone and I are doing is just trying to bounce around as much as we can. Just try and hit different tree stands. I think one thing, we talked about it a lot this morning. So today is November 11th as I'm narrating this video. We talked about it a lot this morning. You know, kind of what's hurting us still is this standing corn that's by the house. I think there's probably some good bucks in the area that are just holed up chasing does and stuff in this standing corn. These draws and these waterways are just too good at bedding when that corn is standing, so it's making our hunting a little bit difficult here at home. And I shouldn't say that we're whining about it, because that'll protect deer for next year. Here I'm sitting in this water hole again. Now we've been having quite a bit of rain, so I don't have any illusions that this water is going to be bringing in deer, but it's just set up for north wind. Watch what happens here. Oh. And if you don't know what a deer looks like when it smells you, that's it. But I think my profile is low enough that, yeah, he spooked, but it wasn't terrible. He actually hung out there for another 10 or 15 minutes, but I didn't want to show that much footage of him. So this evening I'm set up on a permission farm in between two cornfields. So you can see there's a cornfield that's picked, that's up to the west of me. Cornfield is picked to the east of me. This draw kind of runs north and south, and I'm hunting it with a southeast wind. A couple ditch crossings in front of me. Kind of an ideal spot for the rut. And I saw two decent bucks this night. So both of these bucks, instead of working inside of that draw, inside the timber and the cover, we're out in this open ground. So the highlights from this week are from November 4th to the 11th, and what started out as the 4th, with a lot of the deer just chasing does, ended up with them on does. So here I'm downwind of bedding, another damp, dreary day, and I'm going to do some rattling. This is downwind of bedding. Everything is in front of me. I'm going to hit these antlers hard. So that was a 28-second rattling sequence, and that's what I do is I hit it hard and short, and then I'm going to get ready. So I left the camera running just to see if anything would show up, and in my experience is usually within, like, sometimes they come charging in, but it's usually within the first 5 minutes. A lot of time it's within 30 seconds these bucks will respond. And that's about what happened here. Right out of that bedding. So again, I'm trying to keep everything in front of me. Where I expect the deer to be is going to be upwind. And I think it took about a minute for this guy to come in. So a lot of times these bucks will charge right in and they'll be on top of you in no time, or a lot of times they'll come in and they'll be cautious and they'll hold up at about 50 yards or 100 yards, which is what this buck did. At this point, he's behind some kind of thick stuff, and I can see a rack. So my initial instinct is, just get ready in case you're going to take a shot. I don't know if it's a shooter or not, but I'm going to adjust in my stand and get ready for a shot, just in case it is. I think right around this point, I realize it's probably not, a buck I'm after. I don't know what happened there. The wind was kind of swirling a little bit that day, and I think he must have caught a little bit of my scent. I don't know why, because that would have been directly upwind of my stand site. He must have caught just a little bit of something, a little bit of wind swirl. If you're going to take that buck, right here's the time to do it right there. You do the old meh. That's about a 25-yard shot. Camera angle's a lot lower than what I'm at. That would have been a pretty good shot. But yeah, I just wanted to show that little rattling sequence there. I don't do a lot of blind rattling. It worked in this case, brought this buck in, but I don't do it a lot. But I just wanted to show you kind of what I do. But I saw a ton of deer this night. What I was able to film is probably a small fraction, maybe a quarter, or maybe a half of what I saw. A lot of does and fawns getting chased. A lot of 2- and 3-year-old bucks. These two little bucks kind of square off here a little bit. But beginning of the week, a lot of chasing. A lot of what I thought was not necessarily does in heat, but toward the end of the week, kind of just the opposite. So as I watch this video, I just want to talk about a little bit. This buck that I've been chasing now for a few years called Kaminsky showed back up on camera kind of a bunch of times here in the last couple of weeks. Right around the house, which kind of surprised me because I never really had a very good pattern on him. This bobcat kind of snuck in on me here. So just about the time I was thinking I was going to be able to make a play on this buck we call Kaminsky, I got him on a camera a mile away. So just in one day's time, he went from being right behind the house to a mile away. So that's good. I mean, obviously that's bad for me because, he's gone, and I'm sure he'll be back. But this time of year, these bucks, if they don't have a doe, a hot doe, they're out looking, they might be here today, gone tomorrow. But that also means that bucks that are a mile away might show up on your property. So don't be surprised if you see a giant buck for the first time. You've never seen him before and never got him on camera. And other than a handful of bucks, that's kind of what I'm hunting right now. Worm's been kind of elusive for us this year. Kaminsky's been elusive. I mean, he showed up a little bit, but I still don't have a real good play on him. Had a couple opportunities on Pop-Tart at the cabin farm. But that'll be the play for the next, 10 days here. There's going to be a lot of does getting bred between the 10th and the 20th of November. A lot of does will be in heat. But these bucks will be with those does for a day or two, and they'll be out looking for another one. And they're going to be putting on a lot of miles. This is a morning hunt in a stand we call Mustang. Again, I probably saw 10 deer this morning, and I only got a couple on film. It's really hard to get the camera up and running and not spook them. So thanks for watching. Tune in next week, and hopefully we'll have one on the ground here.